Every year, it starts long before the season ever opens. Checking trail cameras like our lives depend on it. Every picture builds the anticipation of what's out there, what's changed, what's survived another year. As hunters, we wait months for one moment, one chance, one opportunity. And when we get the one picture that starts this chase, an obsession forms. This is the story of Dre.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Grape City Outdoors. This week we're diving into a video that I haven't really done before. It's going to be a new territory for me, so if you do like this type of content, please leave a like and a comment, or even leave a comment on something that you don't like and how we can make it better in the future. And in this week's video, it has one sole purpose, and that's to talk about the local farm legend of a deer we call Dre. Now, for those who don't know, my family has owned and operated a small produce farm out of the corner of northwest Pennsylvania for over 200 years, where we grow apples, grapes, and peaches, hence how this channel got the name Grape City Outdoors. Now, I've hunted this property pretty much my entire life. My family also lives and hunts on this property as well from as long as I can remember, and it's just a tradition that has been instilled in me ever since I was a little kid. Now, I've hunted and taken multiple bucks off of this property throughout my hunting career, and I'm not bragging about anything, but for most people, I believe that they go out there and they start the year off talking about how they're gonna kill a bigger buck than you, or I'm gonna kill a bigger buck than my dad. And that's just always been the chatter and the talk throughout our family. Now, up until about 3 or 4 years ago, I didn't care if the deer was mature or anything like that. I would just shoot the first legal buck that came by, whether that buck was 80 inches or if it was 200 inches. There just never has been a drive up until recently to shoot mature deer coming off of our property. A little backstory of the farm here is I am the second oldest of 10 cousins that hunt the farm, not including my uncles and my dad who also hunt the farm. But to give you a little bit better dynamic of how this family function works of hunting the farm is everybody knows juniors have a different set of rules than actual adult hunters. So when you have 9 younger cousins who can still hunt the farm, if it's brown, it's down, baby. Like there's no waiting. You get that Super Bowl excitement feeling and you go after and you shoot that buck. Well, in 2021 and 2022, this all changed. All those junior hunters are now above the age of 16. We finally got them past that no restriction, that no antler point restriction, and now they have to follow those adult hunting rules. Not only did this help the maturity class, but this also helped our deer age a lot better. So to tie this all together and kind of make this story make a little bit more sense, the past couple years, all the bucks that have been taken off that farm have been in that 3 to 5 year old age class, whereas it used to be that 1 to 3 year old age class. I personally have loved the challenge of whitetail hunting throughout my entire life. Now, this love has grown with a new challenge for me, and that is to start producing mature whitetail deer. And even before I even started YouTube and started taking it a little bit more seriously, I was out there giving deer names. I was tracking them year-round through trail cameras. I was making sure that there was enough food for them on our home farm so that they could survive harsh winters, or even just put on a little bit of antler growth from what I knew. Was it a lot? No. But this love started way back when, and now I'm just trying to spread it with y'all. And even though this video is dedicated to just one deer, Dre, we kind of start this video off with 3 separate bucks because they're the bucks that kind of got this story rolling. And the first deer up to bat is a deer we call 8 Ball. 8 Ball we believe to be roughly between 4 and 5 years old. And this is the first deer that Grape City Outdoors has ever had 3 years of history with. And the reason we call him 8 Ball is none other than the fact that he is just a basket rack 8-point that has never grown any bigger, any wider. He has just had the same rack year after year after year. He's been a great farm local legend to us, and he has kind of just set the stage for the deer we call Dre. This deer doesn't score very high, but all summer long he has been running with Dre, and he's kind of been showing him the ropes of our farm. And believe it or not, my uncle had the opportunity to take 8-ball off the farm this year during the second week of Pennsylvania rifle season, and 8-ball is no longer a running deer on the home farm. The other 2 deer that have been fueling this passion to create stories with whitetails on the home farm are 2 deer. One is called Uno and one is called Towers. Uno is the first buck we'll talk about, and he has just been around for 2 years. And the reason we call him Uno is in 2024, he had an extra point coming up off his brow tine. It gave him that Uno factor. And in this year, it kind of just comes down off his face and acts as an eye guard. He's definitely put on a lot of mass and a lot of tine length this year, and it's just a great buck to have at the home farm. The second buck is Towers, and with the picture here you're seeing, it's pretty easy how he got his name. 2024, his brow tines were just as long as his G2s. They'd be stuck straight up, super tall brow tines. And then this year, they grew even bigger. He grew wider, he grew more mass, and he grew just this unbelievable frame. And in the photos, you can kind of see that Towers and Uno, they just become like best buddies for the past 2 years, because it seems like if I don't get them in the same trail cam photo, they're within 5 seconds of each other on the next photo. They seem to run together all throughout the summer and even late into the fall. Now, the reason the Dre story starts with these 3 bucks is because the anticipation of last year of these bucks returning from the year before, we put the cameras out in July and they were the 3 bucks we were looking to have back. Now, the first photos of the year did come from Dre and Uno, and just like that, a couple days later, this whole plan to kill these 3 bucks got put on a halt because this deer that we have no history with just showed up on the farm. And when you get this first picture, you can tell right away he is just going to be something special. Now, after seeing this first picture of this deer early back in July, like I said, we knew he was going to be something special. So plans completely changed. We knew that we had to switch something up and kind of double down on just this deer. Early on, Dre seemed to be this typical 5x5 deer with a bunch of kickers coming off both G2s, with mass, with width, and just everything you could see in a potentially a big whitetail. And like I said, like, big whitetails have never been a thing for our farm here at home. So this was something special, and it ended up being probably the biggest buck that we've taken off the farm. Throughout the summer, Dre was showing up on cameras left and right with all of his male running buddies and just showing up daylight, nighttime, anytime he was in the area, he was on our cameras. And our family being as close as we are, we were sending pictures to everybody, getting everybody excited, planning, plotting, seeing how we were able to get this deer on the ground. Every day, this deer consumed every single one of my inner thoughts. I would wake up with anticipation of seeing if he showed up on the camera the night before. And with an attempt to start building this story of Dre, I asked a buddy of mine to go out and film him during the summer months and take his camera out there, sit out where he's been showing up in daylight, and try to put some footage together. Now, just like every other giant whitetail out there who is a lot smarter than we are, he never showed up, but we ended up getting some incredible footage of the deer we call Uno and Towers. And trust me, it did not disappoint. Just truly incredible to see these 2 deer out in their natural habitat, taking in everything that they do here on our farm. Now, with my situation being a little bit more unique than most hunters, where I have to travel back and forth from Florida to hunt, to plant food plots, to do all my preparation for deer hunting, this year was a little bit more difficult than years past. I normally go home during May time to do my spring turkey hunting, and during those times I would normally plant my food plot, whether that be beans or corn, and I usually have the time to do that. But unfortunately this year, Mother Nature had different plans. I did not get my corn put in. Thankfully, in May, at the end of May, my uncle put in the 6 acres that I would normally plant. And then I tried again in July to add some late food sources, maybe some beans and stuff like that. And again, Mother Nature was not on my side. And finally, I got home in August to do the last ditch efforts of deer preparation. And this is when I got all my green food sources in. And this is kind of where the story starts. So.
Good morning, everybody. Whew, I know what y'all are thinking. What the heck are you doing on August 23rd this early in the morning just screwing around? There's nothing to hunt here in Pennsylvania, but we're thinking about hunting. We're getting ready and we're gonna be putting in some food plots today. I know I might have mentioned this in my last video I just made, but I've been trying to plant food plots since July 4th, even earlier, and every time I go to do it, it has been soaking wet. I can't get anything in the ground. So we first attempted with corn, and then the second time we attempted with beans. And as for all of you that know, I live in Florida, so when I come home, I gotta do it as quick and as efficiently as possible. And every single time I've tried to do it, I got the tractor stuck, it's way too wet, it just doesn't work. So, we're here, August 23rd. We're getting these food plots in today. We've had beautiful weather. We're getting rain tomorrow. We got to get everything done in one day, so that's why we're up so early. And we're gonna get after it. I'll show you what we're planting a little bit later, but first we got to get over with the mower here. Got the bush hog hooked up to the tractor. We're gonna go down, mow the plots. Once the plots get mowed, we're gonna come back and hook up the rototiller, break up all the dirt, make it nice and flat surface, and then we'll throw the seed down. Pretty much a couple step process, shouldn't take us too long. Well, we have made it to our first food plot site down here. We're at the main farm today, so this is the farm I grew up on. It's where I've grown up my whole life, been here for a long time, and this spot has always held bucks during the summer. This year is going to be a little bit different here, and I'll explain why. So if you can see by that tractor and the size of that brush pile, this whole field, which you can kind of see, but you can see how it's kind of just plowed over at the moment. This used to be all Christmas trees, like big grown up, not taken care of Christmas trees, and it used to just be a buck haven for where they would bed during the summer. And as you can tell, I've had a little bit of a food site with a rubbing post and a licking branch. You can kind of see they have it worked up a little bit, just a salt block here during the summer. But I'm gonna throw up some pictures of the deer that we've been getting down here, and this year, let me tell you, I'm gonna put in every ounce of effort to chase after these things, because in my opinion, this is probably the best year yet, and I'm gonna do everything I can to make them stick around, give them all the food that they need, all the nutrients, something to keep them hanging around on this farm. Something that people may not know is our farm is really good during the summer, has lots of bedding, has lots of green source food, and then all of the deer tend to leave during rut, and they go to all over on our neighbor's property. I'm not sure why, haven't figured that part out yet, but we're gonna do everything we can to just keep them here, give them all the food that they will want, that they will need, because during the late season our farm produces all the time because we have all kinds of food, but the main goal is to keep them here during the rut, so one, our neighbors don't get a crack at them, and two, they feel more comfortable here and we can potentially get a shot. So I'm gonna get everything picked up. I gotta get some of these big sticks out of the way so I don't mow them and crush them and do all that kind of stuff. In all honesty, I'm probably not even gonna mow this, to be honest. I might just head up to the other food plot. This isn't too much. I thought this was a lot higher than it is, but I'm gonna shut down this camera and move it out of the way so we can get everything rototilled up. And I'm probably gonna plant like a half-acre plot right here, and then I got a half-acre plot up in the woods that we're gonna go take care of. So let's get that started. We don't got a lot of time, and let's keep moving. All right, we have secured the chainsaw. We are at spot number 2, and we are ready to get rolling. We are going to clear this out, get this mowed, get this rototilled hopefully, It's gonna take some work, honestly. There's quite a bit going on at the moment, but I got faith and we are gonna get it taken care of. So this is gonna be the before. We're gonna clear out all these little sumacs, all these little branches right here. We're gonna leave this tree and then clear up some of these branches, open this big pocket up, and this is where it's gonna go. So let's not waste any more time and let's get started. Alright guys, we're gonna get the tree stand set up. It's right behind me here, that lone tree. We're gonna be up there by that last lonesome branch. And I think this is gonna be dynamite. So let's waste no time, get this thing set up and keep on moving throughout the day. We're running out of time. It's about 9:15 right now, so hopefully get this done in like a half an hour. And just like that, my 2-day trip home in August has come to an end. And what you kind of don't see in this video and show some short clips of is my uncle actually did get those 6 acres of corn planted in May. So it's about neck to a little bit over my head height, which is roughly about 6 feet tall. We got our green food sources in, and my cousin actually put in a few acres of his own food as well. So now that our farm is set and we're ready for the hunting season to start rolling around. Some may ask, why are we doing this extra effort to put in all this food? And in my opinion, our farm has always been the produce farm. There's always food for the deer. Is it high dense in protein or something that the deer might actually need? I don't think so, and that's why we're taking these extra precautions of putting corn in the ground, putting beans, putting monster buck, all these rut green type stuff where it's got turnips and clover, and just adding some presents for food for a white-tailed deer. And just shortly after all the food has been put in the ground, it didn't take long for Dre to find his home. He really started marking up all the food plots. He started marking up all these trees. He was making it known that he was in the area and telling other bucks, hey, this is going to be my home range. With all the cameras lighting up and giving us intel that Dre has found the food and he seems to be making it a continual travel route in his daily routine,
it's time to make another trip home. This brings us to September 4th or September 5th, somewhere in that time frame. I made a trip home for a family function, and during this time we changed out batteries and trail cameras. We made sure the food plots were doing all right, see if they needed any kind of fertilizer, if there was any weed overgrowth. We started putting in mock scrapes, hanging tree stands, doing all the things that we needed to do to get in preparation to try and hunt this deer. Now the time comes. It is October 4th and it is opening day of Pennsylvania archery season, and we are making our first sit for the deer we call Dre. Ironically, this is the day that I ended up getting married. Thankfully, I have an amazing wife and she allowed me to go archery hunting that morning, so shout out to her. But in all reality, I was more focused on wedding things and stuff like that to be really invested in my hunting time. Even though I did hunt a few hours that morning and saw a couple does, Dre never made his way by the stand, and we ended up fulfilling the rest of the day with all the wedding activities. Fast forwarding a little bit in time, the end of October is coming, early November, kind of that sweet spot here in Pennsylvania, and our trail cameras are still lighting up with deer sightings of Dre. We're getting pictures of him, we're making sits for him, and just ultimately, it's just not coming together with a bow in our hands, and this is kind of where the story starts to unfold. Now we're leading up to the brink of Pennsylvania rifle season, where we're kind of getting that Christmas morning feeling build up in our side, and we really think we have a chance at killing this deer during that week. The only downside we're seeing at this time is after about November 8th, November 11th, Dre has gone completely nocturnal. And for a deer in the rut, it seems to be a little odd, but for some reason, he has not shown up during the daylight. Now with all this intel of this deer being on the home farm, you would think Pennsylvania rifle has got to be your best chance of killing this deer. And trust me, I've had those feelings and those thoughts for a long time. But to me, with Dre being nocturnal and the place that he has been spending most of his time is a place where no one can hunt, I elected to hunt this new permission piece that I got over the summer. And it might be a little bit of a crazy thought, but this is what I felt in my gut that I should do, to leave Dre to try to survive that opening weekend and move on and try to hunt some other deer that I've been getting pictures of throughout the summer. So with opening day upon us, we head out, we pack our stuff and head to the new permission piece. Now granted, this new permission piece is kind of in a place where there's no cell phone service, so it's kind of just you, God, and the outdoors, and it's great. This ended up being the best day I've ever had in the Whitetail woods. I saw 60 plus deer on that day, and that video is actually up on my channel, so if you want to check it out, go ahead and look it up down below. But to fast forward, like I said, there's no cell phone service there, so I'm not getting the normal updates I normally would be of who's seeing what back at the home farm and if anybody shot anything. Now we're driving home and we're just waiting to get in that cell phone service range. Finally, we reached that point and the text comes through that my cousin has taken Dre shortly after lunch. Dre was following a doe from his bedroom all the way underneath his stand, 15 yards in front of him, and he laid that deer down. Now, to me, in my mind, I'm like, how does a deer go from 15 plus days of being nocturnal to get that stupid with a doe on the opening, most hunted day of the year? Now, some people might be expecting me to answer in such a way or respond in such a way of, oh, I've lost the biggest deer in my life and be all dramatic, but that is totally not the case. I couldn't be happier for a family member of my own to be taking this buck down and putting it down on our home farm. Granted, we put in all the work and just sometimes it just doesn't work out. And the whole reason of me making this video is to prove that point. I don't own that deer. That deer is not on a land that I own sole permission on. Yes, he's the biggest deer that's been ever taken off our farm, but there's going to be many, 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 many more deer to come. And it's just something that's not worth getting butt hurt over and to keep moving forward. And by no means are we professionals at scoring these whitetails, but we did follow a chart online and we rough scored this deer. He was 170 plus. And if you don't believe me, please drop a comment down below on what you truly think he scored. I will give you guys an update when he gets back from the taxidermist. But I believe he had like 14 scoreable points, the 21-inch spread, and some pretty long beams. I don't know the exact numbers, but that's what we got with our deer. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, drop a comment, maybe even subscribe for the continued content that's coming on this channel. And thank you for watching the story of Drift.